Greetings, this is Kal Kat, the Kal Kat Star, and I just got back from Winter Soldier, the Captain America, the Winter Soldier movie, the 13th or 14th Marvel movie in the cinematic universe. I've done several reviews for several of the other movies, but not all of them. This is the one of the Captain America ones. I don't know if I did all of those, but this is the first big blockbuster for Marvel of this summer. Followed by several others, I'm sure. The last summer it was Age of Ultron and Ant-Man. So this one was unique in that it had a cameo by Spider-Man, actually extended appearance by Spider-Man, and spoilers. Yeah, so but it's a different Spider-Man apparently. It's not the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, and it's not the later Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. It's a third and younger Spider-Man. So yet another reboot of Spider-Man that has been rebooted twice now in the past 15 years, which is kind of ridiculous. Why reboot him that much? But this younger one is closer to the actual comic books than the other two were, even the Raimi one. Although the Raimi one was close. But the same. The premise of this story is sort of a battle royale thing based on an earlier, I think, 90s comic book called Captain America Civil War. It's loosely based on that. In that one, the Avengers fight each other. It's the same idea as in the late 80s when they had Dark Knight Returns, which was also the Batman versus Superman thing in the 80s. And this year there was a Batman versus Superman movie, and this is the Avengers versus itself movie. It's kind of the same idea. Hulk is not in it. Thor is not in it, and they don't really bring it up. They just don't. They sort of mention, "Oh, they're not here. Where are they?" Like nobody explains it, or they've gone. There are probably going to be massive spoilers in the review, just because it's impossible to talk about the movie without giving away stuff that happens in the movie. Because the whole movie is the movie, you can't really just come up with a, explanation. So it's about a year after Age of Ultron in the story, and the Avengers are called to task over their incidents from that movie and the previous ones. By an angry Secretary of State lady and an angry man and old man and some other ones that want the Avengers to be held accountable for their acts they committed by writing up this big UN paper, a booklet that tells them that these accords, Slavavia Accords or whatever, and so, but Captain America doesn't want to sign it, and some of the Avengers don't want to sign it. But Tony Stark, for some reason, because he faced the secretary lady, he wants to sign it. For some reason, he's not reckless anymore, and they say they're bordering on vigilantism, which I found interesting, because they are vigilantes, basically. They're watchmen. Wink. So they go from there, and they have an argument. Stark goes out and looks for... there's also several attacks going on. There's a terrorist guy running around who made it look like the Winter Soldier committed a heinous crime and blew up a conference. I won't give away everything because they blew up. Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Back to the review with lots of some spoilers. The main character you got Captain America, Black Widow, Iron Man, and Scarlet Witch, who's playing kind of a good guy. Vision from Age of Ultron. Ant-Man and Spider-Man from Marvel and Sony merged together. And Black Panther is introduced. And I won't give away how he got introduced because he's in it. There's other guys too. There's this ex guy. It's not the Punisher. It's some other guy. Winter Soldier is, of course, in it. And there's some... the bad guy is an evil psychologist who tries to frame them. So it's like an evil Hydra guy, I guess. And he frames the Winter Soldier, although it's weird because, like, he can tell the Winter Soldier his programming and whatever. So why can't he just make the Winter Soldier do what he wants by saying that to him, and then he doesn't have to accuse him of anything? But I guess they had to say, no, he was actually in hiding and it wasn't really him. So that's, yeah, there's other things they could have done and made that, like, legitimately actually him. But they didn't want to do that. They wanted him to do the bad guy. So he was totally innocent of the later crime. Yeah, they fight because some of them want to sign the contract and some of them don't. So I'm not sure why they would do that. Except, wouldn't it look cool for them to fight in the airport scene? Yeah. And then to fight later in the other scene. There's an odd continuity issue concerning the 1991 mission of the Winter Soldier. And this odd continuity is that Captain America was frozen under the Arctic ice since the 40s and thawed out in Captain America, the First Avenger. How would he know about the 1991 mission? To make Stark mad at him in the final scene when they have a second fight with which you saw in the trailer, which was in that building. They were fighting building with the shield and all that. It was just them going at it. There's a later scene where they go to find the Super Soldier headquarters, and they have to go there. Spoiler: they have to go there and stop them. And I won't give away what happens there. So there will be some not spoiler, but they fight, and it's like Tony Stark gets mad about what happened on the mission in 1991. I won't really give that away either, but it's like if Captain America couldn't have known what happened. Because he was frozen. How did he know? He should have said, I found out, but that wouldn't have made him mad then. And then there would have been no fight. But why is everybody like basing their fight instincts on something someone said? Which is sort of like what they did with Batman versus Superman. In fact, what's going on here is kind of the same idea as what happened in Batman versus Superman. Same idea. So there's a hint as to what the reveal is. I won't tell you, but there's a hint there. And it's like, what, they start fighting over hearsay about what happened to somebody? It's like, that's not reason to fight each other. I just wondered why that part was there. It's like, okay, and then they keep going. It's like, wouldn't they figure out, it's just, okay, yeah. Shouldn't they be fighting the guy that did it instead of each other? And then, well, he shows up, but But yeah, it's like, okay. And Black Panther is unintentionally racist, incidentally, because, well, he is supposed to be a black guy, but they made him stereotypically, like, African black, of course, because, because that's a good idea. I don't think they intended to, but they kind of did. Like, why does he have to be the Black Panther? I know that's from the comic book. And I know that's the reflection of the 60s Black Panthers movement. And I know, yeah, he's a superhero that dresses like a cat, so it's different. He's a furry, essentially. But you're kind of implying that the Black Panthers are in the Marvel Comics. I mean, it's a little weird. It's a little odd. It would be like having the reverse of that. It would be like having the horrible Marvel character they would never go for. The Klansman. And he puts on a white hood and he's like, da-da-da-da-da. And he has to fight the Black Panther. Now that would have been interesting. No, they're not going to do that. Oh, God. It's horrible. But yeah, okay, yeah, the Black Panther. And there has to be, of course, this whole dynamic idea of the... yeah, I'm just saying that it's a bad idea to do that. Considering that they did, in Iron Man 3, they didn't want to make the Mandarin Chinese, so they made him a white guy pretending to be a Chinese guy. And this one, they didn't whitewash it at all. They said, no, Black Panther's black. He's a black guy. And yeah, he's from Africa. Because black guys are from Africa, right? Like, no, not all of them. Well, some of them originated from there, but then gradually some of them aren't. But yeah, so it's just an odd sort of universe they're trying to play with there. I'm not too sure about that. But yeah, okay, Black Panther, fine. He has vibranium like claws. Ooh, he's Super Cat essentially. He's Kitty Key essentially, but black. That's kind of awesome. Super Cat and Kitty Key. It's just weird and trippy. And of course, Abra and Kadabra are Black Panther 1 and 2. They're the female version, and the cats. But yes. So yeah, Iron Man. Vision looked like some sort of a weird Swami Indian character in the original comics, and he had like a little dot in the middle of his head. And it was really, really kind of offensive too. But in this version, they made him look more red than purple, so he didn't really look like ridiculously weird. They changed him a little bit. Yeah, but still, the idea that he's some sort of a mythical Hindu British god guy is kind of odd. But at least there they didn't make him talk Hindu. They made him talk British because he's Tony Stark's computer. Originally, Vision and Ultron were actually in the comic books completely different. Ultron was created from something else, and Vision was created from Ultron. But in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, they made it different. They made Stark and Thor, Stark and Hulk put them together. That's not what happened in the comic book. Anyways, so yeah, the fight doesn't, and the bad guy doesn't seem to have a motivation for doing what he's doing. The bad guy is being a bad guy because he wants to frame the Winter Soldier by dressing up as him, but then he wants to get to Stark and Captain America and crush their empire, even though they don't have an empire. I guess the superhero empire or something. I'm not sure where they were going with that. In his motivations, and his motivation is reliant on the coincidence that this 91 mission that he's looking for, and he gets out of the soldier guy at one point, that somehow that mission is going to set everyone off to have a fight. It's like, that would be so much a ridiculous coincidence. That would be like, okay, yeah, you have the coincidence at the beginning of a story. You don't keep doing it when you tell a story. And it's like, how would that work? It would be like it would be like having like the coincidence that you happen to turn left instead of right when you went into Lucky when you were 8 years old and decided not to buy the cherry pop. And then later on, the cherry pop had something to do with something 30 years later that was relevant to seeing red on the side of a building. It's like, what? It's like you can't do what? Doesn't make sense. If his motivation was just to be evil, that's kind of silly. Hydra is evil. Even the villains that I think have been, like Mark's Cards and I were discussing this just yesterday, that Megatron is Decepticon because he doesn't win all the time because he has hubris. He could win, but because he's not thinking, he's thinking, I'm great and powerful and wonderful and everything, haha, I can defeat the Autobots. That's why he loses, because he decides, hey, I've got the upper hand, even though right now I could totally kill all the Autobots. And it's like he does in the animated movie. But in the Michael Bay ones, not so much. But yeah, so it's kind of like that. You have to have a villain that has a reason and a motivation for doing what he's doing. He might even think his motivations are good in his universe, in his mind. He might think, oh, I'm doing something that in my world is good, even though it's bad. Like some of the terrorist groups, they think their extreme views are to them good, which is crazy. But they think it's good, so they want to do what they're doing. But yeah, it's sort of like that. Or conspiracy theorists might think their ideas are good somehow, and they're obviously on left field. So it's like, okay. But yeah, a superhero movie, and without any controversial evidence, Black Panther, here's the news media talking about the frame-up thing. It doesn't conclude at all it's a frame-up. He concludes, oh no, I have to get revenge. I have to fight the guy. And it's like, well, they're only telling you what's on the news. They're not actually. So it's a nod to propaganda being what it is too as well. So there's a moral compass going on, but it being swinging back and forth. But the moral pendulum. But yeah, he just believes them, and they believe that signing the paper or not signing the paper means something, and that causes them to go off too. Like, well, it's kind of more serious. I mean, the heroes are being questioned about their honor or something. But what would make that more interesting is if they all signed it and then had to break it. That would be more interesting. But yeah, yeah, and the Vision having to hold the Scarlet Witch at bay in the house was kind of strange, but I guess yeah, huh. But yeah, there was a lot of spoilers in my review. There's the Winter Soldier review, I guess, pretty much. I was talking about other stuff, but I didn't want to go into all the spoilers and details. It just came out today, so I don't want to give it all away. But maybe there will be a discussion later when everyone's seen it a little more. But yeah, it's a good movie. Go see it in theaters. I saw the 3D one, which was unfortunate because I really can't. The 3D kind of gives me a little bit of a headache. But yeah, I did see that, and I'll probably see it in 2D again when I can actually watch it this time. And yeah, so. But I did see it. I saw it all. I watched it. And I watched it all the way through, and there was, yeah, as a Captain America sequel, it's good. It's not the greatest Marvel movie ever or anything. I think still the first Avengers movie is probably that. Not so much the second one. I'd say it's on a par with. I think Ant-Man was a little more fun actually. Parts of this movie are just. There's a little too much going on and a little too much coincidences. If they just had tightened it up a little bit and said, okay, well, we have competing ideas here. Let's do that. Let's explain what the villain's true motivation is, because obviously the cover story he's giving is not really making any sense. And wouldn't they know the Winter Soldier was where he was and not like attacking the fortress thing or whatever, the UN attack? It's in the trailer. Not attacking that and then having them do the other thing. Wouldn't they know? They have sophisticated hyper CIA technology and stuff. And of course, there's a slight to the Aaron Carter. I was going to say Aaron Carter. That's funny. I meant the Carter series, the Agent Carter series. There's a slight in this movie. I won't give that away either. So yes, you'll. Have to see that. But yeah, I didn't give away too much. I did mention the motivation. Seemed a little screwy. I'll have to see it again to see whether I just missed it, or whether he's just mad, crazy, or whether the writers were Scientologists and just don't like psychologists, or whether other stuff was going on and major coincidences were going on. And you'd think that, like in the movies, when they make a Manchurian Candidate type of like sleeper spy, and they do like American Ultra did kind of too. And you have somebody allegedly programmed, to, on a word, even if it's in Russian, in this case, on a series of words, to flip out and go into super soldier mode. That would be a really bad idea, to make it a word that everyone might know. What would happen if, like he went to, like, what would happen if they made it like an American sleeper cell thing? Like in Ultra, and it was just some word like pizza or football or something, and he's like hanging out in a random like mall or something, and somebody happens to say that word to him, the trigger word sets him off, and he kills like 50 people. That'd be bad. I could see a series of words but how would that even work? I mean, a sleeper agent. Like, with all of the data around nowadays, with all, like, the internets and stuff, you'd think they would accidentally flip out at their computer from the sleeper words getting in there somehow and setting them off. Like, But yes, I'm not insulting the Black Panthers. Don't freak out. Yeah, guys. I'm saying this character doesn't seem very PC. That's all I'm saying. It's like, okay, yeah, I'm not making fun of. No, totally not making fun of Black Panther. I'm saying like this character is being a little offensive. He's got like little teeth around his like. He's got bling. It's like, really? God. It's like, okay, he's cool, but no. Because they have the other guy. They have War Machine in there, but and interestingly enough, War Machine has to wear a shiny silver suit. Well, he's black. Well, Iron Man is white, pasty white, and he's wearing a red suit to make himself look red. They get like the symbolism of Marvel. There's probably somebody that's done a website of it, but that's really odd. And Black Panther has to be black. What if the Mandarin shows up and he's actually Asian this time? Would that be a good idea? I don't know. Maybe. Yeah. Since they made fun of Russians in this one too. Red star on everything. Das vidanya. Like, yeah. Like that scene in Transformers 3 where they were trying to speak Russian. It means goodbye. Yes. Yes, but I learned all of my Russian from Chekhov from Star Trek, so it's going to be bad, very bad Russian. Yes. Walter Keown. Yeah. But yeah, yeah, they did make fun of the Russians in this one. Some of them. Yeah, but yeah, Panther. I like panthers. Well, Kitty Key is more of a tuxedo cat. But there you go. Anyway, das vidanya.